And welcome to another lunch stream on the RSG channel. I am Finity, filling in for Ranger, who is currently on his much-needed vacay after his pretty much daily Battlefront stream. I don't know how that man was doing it. Basically streaming every single day for a few hours doing Battlefront. It's been kind of crazy, so he's taking some time off here with the holidays coming, spending time with some family. So I am hosting today. So welcome everyone to the lunch stream. And we have our typical crew here with us as well. So we have first Mr. Sanely Red, my apprentice who is coming into his own here. So I don't think you need the apprentice title anymore, Sanely. You are just Sanely Red. How are you doing today?
It's going good.
And Sanely is going to be monitoring the chat. So if you guys have questions or anything like that, go ahead and post it in. We'll be doing some stuff here shortly. Once I finish introducing, Sanely has some announcements for you guys, so make sure you're ready for those. But finishing off the crew here, we have Mr. Grim the Mechanic. How are you doing, Grim?
How's it going? I'm getting my butt handed to me in fleet battles right now. It's not fun.
What are you using?
My starting lineup was Gauntlet, TIE Fighter Pilot, and Scimitar.
Okay. Scimitar in the starting lineup. We're seeing new things every day. All right. And then we have from across the pond, Mr. Mike Hunt, who is in traffic with an unmuted mic. How are you doing, Mike?
I'm good. I'm excited about ships, but it's not often that I get to say that. Ooh.
Well, this is why we are across the water, because I feel completely different, but that's all good. And joining us as well, we have Mr. Deep Klesko. He is going to be our roster review, but he's also joining us on the stream today. So how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great.
So let's get to Sanely, and then I'll let you introduce yourself a little bit to our viewers here. So Sanely, I know we have some important announcements that we want to make sure everybody gets as quickly as possible. So I'll let you shoot those out.
Okay, well, first, Ewokin just donated $2, and he said, question, what the F am I doing? I don't know, what are you doing, Ewokin?
Nobody knows. In ships, nobody knows.
Okay, anyways, so before you do your ship abilities materials, there is a new tier. You're going to want to go for that because you get the ship omegas and that. Okay, and also, we got double drops starting tomorrow, and that includes Galactic War. Save your Galactic War from today for tomorrow. Just go into a battle and then leave. You don't have to do any of the battles to do your, daily challenges. And then make sure to save up your refreshes for, regular energy and Cantina.
All right. And so because of that, we are not doing Galactic War Thursday today because I have to save my Galactic War for tomorrow. But with that being said, we'll probably do some Galactic War tomorrow. So while I'm using all my notes and all that. So we'll do Galactic War tomorrow. We have something else planned for today. But first, like mentioned, we have our roster review. So Deep, go ahead and introduce yourself and your guild. Let people know who you are.
Sure, I'm Deep Sea Kelso, and I'm in Awakened. I've been around since about 2 weeks after launch, and serving the military, been in 21 years. I'm a Navy recruiter, and I recruit for my guild too. But I pretty much headhunt medical professionals, and I enjoy my work and protecting and serving this country in America, because I know we're global.
Well, thank you very much for your service, sir. I don't know if you know, but our regular host Ranger is a former Army Ranger as well. And then Grande, who may be joining us today, is also former Army. So we always appreciate it. And Sanely, yes, Sanely it was your anniversary like last week, right?
Yeah, 12 years ago last week I signed up for the Army Reserve.
So we definitely
Awesome.
love our veterans and our active military. So thank you very much for your service. With that,
And thank you all for yours.
well, what we do is just to entertain guys like you. So if we can help you guys in any way, I always appreciate doing that. So let's go
Thank you.
into your roster here. So I'll bring that up, and you guys on the Skype chat, I put it in the channel. I saw a message from Owen saying that it sounds like the voice is breaking up. If my voice sounds weird, let me know. I think everything should be going okay. So, but let me know if it starts sounding weird. But we have Deep Sea Kelso's roster up, and it looks like you're doing pretty well in Arena. Again, he's in the Awakened Guild, so shout out to Awakened. And what would you like us to review today?
I want to do perfect in my combat missions on light side and dark side territory battles. I think I got the missing piece of the puzzle with my last Zeta. I finally did raid on and started gearing him. It took me a long time to get to him because I was focused on the Jedi training raid Zetas. But other than that, I'm looking also to improve my dark side roster because right now I know the meta is going to shift to Treya, and there are light side counters, but they don't hold well on defense. So I'm sure that who to Zeta next would be another question. So how do I get my perfects, not just by gameplay, but who to place gear on? I think is my best question.
Okay. So he has a 3.2 mil roster, which means that he will have a plethora of characters available for us to look at to try and find that. So let's go to his characters tab, and let's filter first by light side. So let's start with light side territory battles. And going ahead and looking at your roster here, it looks like you do have Zeta Finn. You have all of Jedi Training Rey. So those are two potential leaders that you have going on here. What teams are you currently running? Let's start there for your territory battles.
I use a JTR team. I use a Finn team. I use a CLS team and then a Rolo team, pretty much.
A Rolo team. Okay.
Or a wedge bit, depending on deployments.
So it looks like your Phoenix are also pretty high up. I see your Hera's 11.
I
your
got a couple
Kanan's 11.
Zetas on them.
Yeah, so is there a reason why you're not using your Phoenix as one of your teams kind of consistently in light side?
I do use them from time to time, but I find that RNG, even with the Zeta Kane and even with the mods, I'm not finding the right mix because my Zeb needs to go up a little bit, I think, to make it work.
Okay.
Because he's still, I think, G8.
Okay. That's fair. And is your Jin Zeta?
Yes.
Okay.
I have her, and I actually have Cassian Zeta because I want to be able to hit the auto button on all that because it's fun getting into there. I'm getting bored with TB, so I would love to be able just to auto it and it'd be okay. So, I have even came to the time of contemplating to do the K2SO thing, but I just can't do it. I cannot do it.
Don't do it.
I can't do it. But I've thought of it. It has crossed my mind.
It puts the button down and it goes and sobers up.
I might as well do Clone Wars Chewie if I do him.
I like you will go away and rethink your life.
Yeah.
Have you? I mean, I heard you say that you've got Kanan Zeted. Have you Zeted Sabine?
I haven't, and I was thinking she might be my next Zeta because she does great in Phase 2, also of the Heroic Sith raid.
Yes, she does.
So I've just who to do next versus saving for Treya. They're like a bottleneck item, so I don't know what's the biggest bang for your buck because I also do still want to maintain my arena rank, and I can't keep on being like in my shard chat. I'm sure I can't be like, hey man, can you please switch out your team for a second? I need to take one, please. So I'm lucky to be in a great shard to
So I've switched the page now to look at your resistance characters. So Jedi Training Rey and Finn are both very viable light side leaders in order to get full completion all the way through territory battles. But obviously, since they're both resistance, it's going to be important on how you separate these two squads. There are 10 resistance characters. You don't necessarily need full resistance in order to run it. But looking at your squad, it looks like you're working on Haldo and Rose, but they're not quite ready yet. Are you farming their hard nodes?
I am, and I plan to continue to do that. With the new visas and Cyan, though, it's really tempting to switch to make those more of a priority, because I do 3 energy refreshes. I use all the 50s up, and I don't do the 100s every day.
Okay. So how do you typically separate your resistance? Because you said you're running Finn team and Jedi Training Rey. How do you typically separate your resistance?
Sure. So I'll put for resistance, I'll use R2 with Finn, and then for Rey, I'll slap in like General Kenobi or My Two Dads or something like that. Where you run the old Ben and General Kenobi with Rey, because that's my arena team. It's got all my arena mods on it too.
Okay, so you don't run R2 with BB-8.
I don't run R2 with BB-8. I only run. I've put one other person into My Two Dads.
Okay. And how have your teams been doing?
You know, I've been doing good all the way up until I think I don't finish one of the light side 6-star or the phase 6 battles. I'm like one mission away from having perfect on light side. And from what the team comps that other people are using in my guild, it looks like Raidhan was a missing key, because I needed to be able to stun a certain tunes when I get into that final phase. So I'd be missing out on that one last phase.
Okay. But with your Jedi Training Rey and your Finn teams, you've been able to do 6 out of 6.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And I do this special easily.
Okay. All right. So if we go back to your light side here. So you have a Jedi Training Rey and a Finn team that you're good with the resistance side. If Raidhan was kind of your difference maker, that means your CLS team was typically not the stronger one?
That's correct.
Okay. And so what team are you looking to run now with your CLS? Do you have any ideas what you're looking at? Or?
And that's kind of where I'm at. Like, what would you recommend for me? If you had my roster, what would you recommend me run?
Okay. You're breaking up a little bit for me, but I heard your question, which is what we would recommend. So I'm assuming we're all looking at it. Grim, did you have a chance to look, and what teams would you run outside of Resistance with the CLS lead probably, and then another lead for Phase 6?
What was it?
Phase 6 of Lightside Territory Battle. So outside of Resistance, which he's using Jedi Training Rey and Finn, we're looking at Lightside characters. He just got his Raidhan up. So we're looking at 2 other teams for him to try and get a perfect. One of which is going to be the special mission on Phase 6. So that's going to be kind of the CLS team it's Captain Han and Rolo, right? So we'll need to create one team for that so he can get the special mission. And then another team in order to get 6 out of 6.
Let's see here. He could probably get away with doing the Whigs team with, say, Fulcrum, Trute, and Baze.
Mm-hmm.
That one does pretty good in Phase 6 on the regular combat missions.
That it does.
The Fulcrum's a pretty low gear.
You said that you got a Zeted Jin and a Zeted Cassian.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I didn't hear a Rogue One squad mentioned.
That's what I was thinking too, Mike. A potential Rogue One
I mean,
with a Jin.
Rogue One squad, mate. That I mean, especially as you've got 2 Zetas on it. Personally, I would opt for Scarif if you have an available Scarif over K2SO.
I think he's G8 or 9.
Which is fine, because if you have a Chirrut, he's going to be getting heals over time up, which means that he can keep on popping back up. Plus, if you're running Chirrut and Baze is still going to do a lot of the taunting. Scarif Rebel Pathfinder is essentially just going to be an off tank for you.
Okay.
And definitely put Cassian in there, because Cassian really rocks in light side territory battles.
Yes,
And he is amazing, especially under Jin. He stacks 5 stacks of expose on people with that grenade.
Yeah. So I think one team you have that I think would do really well would be a Jin lead with a Chirrut, a Baze, a Cassian, and a Scarif Rebel Pathfinder. And if you can increase your Scarif Rebel Pathfinder, it'll be even better. But I think even with him at Gear 9, he's a 7-star. Your other characters are well ready at Gear 11. And Gear 10 Baze is still fine. Baze is nasty in light side territory battles because everything you're facing is Empire. And Baze just kills Empire. Like, he eats up Empire.
That AoE.
Mm-hmm.
That AoE.
So, between Baze eating up Empire, Chirrut giving heals over time everywhere, you do want to make sure that this is one of those squads where you do want to make sure you use the special, because it will help you getting the airstrike and all that. I think Rogue One would be a team that would do really well for you, given that you have 2 Zetas on them and they're pretty high level.
All right, I'll give it a shot.
And then, if we go to your remaining Rebels, so now we're looking at your special mission with CLS, right? So it's going to be CLS, Captain Han Solo, and Rolo. So those ones are going to be basically required. You have your Han Solo, who definitely will go on to that team. And then you have 1 open spot, and you have a Gear 12 Zeta Old Ben. Oh no, but you're using Old Ben.
Yes, I use them in my JTR team.
In your JTR team. So you're essentially looking for a tank to take some of the heat off. You're going to have Captain Han in order to do a res. Your Stormtrooper Han is gear level 11, so I think he is a prime candidate here. The other one, which I'm not seeing... Oh, he's down here. Thinking also Hoth Rebel Soldier. One thing that a lot of people... And you have to be careful about the investment you put in there, because obviously they're kind of a limited character. But for both light side and dark side battles, investing in the heroes means that you know it's going to be available for all of the battles, and they pretty much get a res in light side territory battles, right? They come up, if they die once, they'll come back to life, and then if you kill something, it'll survive. So investment in those Hoth heroes is really valuable, but Hoth Rebel Scout, Hoth Rebel Soldier, somewhat limited characters overall, so I understand not having much effort into them. Your Hoth Rebel Soldier is Gear 8, your Scout is Gear 9, which isn't out of the ordinary. They're not great. They're not super characters outside of territory battles. So if it's something you're looking at specifically just for territory battles, I think Hoth Rebel Soldier is actually a pretty good investment. He's a very decent tank. He's underutilized because his kit is very limited. But for territory battles, it does really well. But if you're looking at what you have now in order to put together a squad, I think either Hoth Rebel or Stormtrooper Han, or potentially Kanan, since you do have the Zeta on Kanan. Kanan is another potential tank you can put on this team, especially if you're not running Phoenix.
Okay.
What do you guys, Sanely? What do you think for his CLS team?
For CLS team, let's see, can run CLS. I guess you could do the Fulcrum Ahsoka if you get her up a bit.
Yeah.
And Han Solo. Maybe Ezra Bridger, since he's already Gear 11.
Yeah. Ezra is a
Maybe
good one too.
slot in General Kenobi.
So his General Kenobi's with his Jedi Training Ray team.
Ah, gotcha.
Well, he's got a Gear 12 old Ben.
That's also on the Jedi. That's his two dads team.
Oh, he's doing the double tank for okay.
But Ezra is a good one. So Ezra is really nice under a CLS lead, particularly because he'll just keep on double tapping every time he counters. So you don't need the full Phoenix synergy for him to get like the Kanan unique for him to counterattack. You put him under a CLS and he's pretty nasty too. So I think Ezra is a potential option as well. It makes you much more damage focused. So you'll want to make sure that you're careful about how the damage is being distributed. You're not using R2 on that team, so you don't get the pseudo taunt. And you also, if you're running Captain Han, Rolo, and Luke Skywalker with an OG Han, right, then you only have one spot left. Ezra makes you very, very aggressive, so you'll have to make sure that your Captain Han is distributing his heal and then his res at the right time so your squad can keep pushing forward. But with your gear level, it's definitely possible in order to do it. Just depends whether or not you want to go aggressive or whether or not you want to add like a Kanan or a Stormtrooper Han for a little bit of a tank for cover.
Well, if he's running Kanan or Ezra, I'd recommend Chopper to go alongside those two because Chopper
evades like a mofo.
He's really nice. He's very, very nice. Well, mainly like his basic reduces cooldowns of Phoenix, so.
Well, he wouldn't have any other Phoenix. So the other four on the team are Commander Luke, Captain Han, Rolo, and then OG Han. So we're looking to fill that one spot left with a Rebel to make use of the Commander Han and whatnot. But his Phoenix tend to be his highest ones, and he's not running a Phoenix squad. But I agree with you. Chopper is actually a really good option too because he evades so much.
Yeah, he taunts. Ezra is nice, but you need a taunter.
Hermit Yoda, once you get him to 7-star.
Yeah.
And that's after the next TB, he'll be 7-star. That's who I'm dumping all my guild event currency into.
I would actually then change your resistance teams, to be honest.
All right.
So my initial thought is if you're getting Hermit Yoda, you may want to switch around your resistance teams a little bit because you wouldn't need both your tanks on that team. You could put in a Hermit Yoda and then run like a Jedi Training Ray with an R2, a BB-8, a Hermit Yoda, and a Kenobi.
All right.
And
that would work.
That team would be able to basically control itself all the way through, especially if you have the Zetas on BB-8. So once you put Master's Training on BB-8, you'll constantly be able to get BB-8 to go every time Hermit Yoda puts up the buff, and then he calls somebody else. So you're getting like 2-3 attacks repeatedly from BB-8 attack. R2 will get the stun, so you don't need as much damage dealing on that. It becomes a much more control-oriented team. And then with your Finn team, you'll then have Finn, Poe. You can put Resistance Trooper on there. And then you could use, if you wanted to put Old Ben on the Jedi Training Ray team, that would be fine too. And then you could put Kenobi with your Finn or something like that. Once you get Rose Tico, your Finn team is going to be crazy good. Rose under Finn destroys territory battles. Because her special just stuns, and then it resets with all the exposes that are popping up. So you put Rose under Finn, and you'll be able to stun like the entire team. And then even if you hit the exposes with like Poe, the entire team is stunned, so you buy yourself some extra time. So that's just later on, though, once you get your Hermit Yoda, how you want to kind of move things around. But in terms of your current squad, I think the Rogue One team with Scarif Rebel Pathfinder instead of K2SO, and then your Commander Luke with either Chopper or Kanan as your tank with the other ones, I think you have the squads, I think, in order to get your perfect light side territory battles on light side.
I was really close last time. I think I had like one guy half health left, and he killed me. The AOE killed me.
Yeah. So I think you have it there. Let's also look at. By the way, how's the stream looking, Sanely and Grim? Is it going okay?
Yeah, I haven't seen any issues.
Okay. So let's now look at your dark side characters. How are you doing on the dark side, and what teams are you using there?
So I use a Nightsister team. I just got Mother Talzin to 7 stars, so I'll be able to use her in phase 6. But I use Nightsisters. I use my bounty hunters for the bounty hunter missions. I use Sith with EP lead, and I use Empire with my Imperial Troopers.
Okay.
The problem is with troopers is it depends on which one they ask for platoons. If I platoon, then they're always asking. It looks like for the ones that are in the OP5.
Yeah. So we've had to look at that in our guild too. Usually, it's platoons 3 and 4 are consistent of only Empire characters, and usually it's like the same 6 that they're asking for. And it's like TIE Fighter Pilot, Death Trooper, Shore Trooper, Krennic, Royal Guard. They're just repeatedly
and Death Trooper.
Yeah.
And Death Trooper.
Yep.
And so
that's going to be on loop.
Yeah. So those ones are always getting called on in that. So it is a pain. But let's look at which ones are you not getting full on?
Phase 6. That's it.
Well, I mean, which squads? Are you able to get like 6 out of 6 with your Nightsister squad?
No, my Nightsister, because I didn't have Mother Talzin up, so I was stuck with running Asajj lead with old Daka, and all it takes, she's a little squishy. She needs a little bit more gear for me, and probably a Zeta to really make that team work if I wanted to make it work. My zombies got to get up to use my zombie, so Acolyte was in on it, and so was Initiate. But I mean, they don't have Zetas. The only one who has a Zeta is Asajj's lead.
Okay.
Talia shouldn't be underestimated. She's great too.
Yeah, I do throw her in on it too, but I don't have Sister Spirit up. I don't have.
No, I can see you're very close on both, though, aren't you? You're both 6 stars on them.
Yeah.
Finn's just put it up. I can see it.
I'm almost tempted to say that you shouldn't bother with Acolyte.
Acolyte is still really good, though.
She is,
especially in territory battles.
There's no zombie for cover, and they still dispel a lot. I'm kind of thinking that he may just be better off with a team similar to the Phase 4 Sith Heroic raid.
Whoops.
So
we lost him.
Oh, did he drop?
What
he dropped.
side tanks has he got?
What was that?
I'm just wondering what dark side tanks he's got. I mean, you've got a Daka who will do revives, so he could put. If he's got
tanks.
A tank and just hope for a revive. I mean, Law of Averages says that eventually Daka will revive a non-Nightsister tank.
So his dark side tanks are Shore Trooper, who may end up in the platoon, so it's hard to rely on him.
That's not. Yeah, Shore Trooper's
First Order Stormtrooper. His Kylo Ren is only gear 8, so chances are he's not going to be using First Order. First Order Stormtrooper is gear 10. And then Stormtrooper is gear 9. So there isn't a lot of high-level dark side tanks. So
just like, what's it called? Royal Guard might be an option.
Royal Guard may be an option.
Stuns, you're going to get some healing. Yeah. You're going to lose, but it's also going to proc Ventress, isn't it? Each time he goes. Whether or not you can bring them back.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I'm thinking
I was-
that he might just want to do like the Phase 4 Sith team, which is the Asajj, Lee, Daka, Talia, Initiate, and Talzin. Wait on Acolyte. Once Zombie is 7-star, then sub out Talia and Initiate, put in Acolyte and Zombie. But before that, you have all of this healing coming between Asajj, Daka, Talia, and Talzin. Acolyte does damage, but you don't have the same kind of like synergy like in the raid, right? Where you're constantly getting damage because of the Bonzo weakness, which are triggering it. So Asajj, Acolyte is just going to damage, but that's pretty much it. She's not causing any cycle. Versus Initiate, who can now be put in there and basically either give your guys crit chance up, so they're doing more damage, or because she's gear 9, which is actually kind of a good thing that she's weak, she's going to die and then trigger a lot of these abilities a little bit quicker, including Asajj's unique, which even without Zeta, she still gains a stacking offense. It's just not to the same extent. So I'm thinking maybe the non-Acolyte Initiate team may end up working a little bit better with his Nightsisters until he gets Zombie.
And there's a double drop weekend.
Mm-hmm. There is a double drop weekend.
Yes, there is.
So, yeah, I mean, so I know you dropped for a little bit there, so I don't know if you caught all of that, Klesko.
I caught most of it. I only missed like maybe a second of it, but yeah, I agree. The only time I used my zombie is all the way up because he just needs one more star, and I am farming him actively. He just, I think that he'll be an excellent addition once he is 7-star, but once for phase 5 and below, I use him. I have to use him because he cheeses his way through it. That Acolyte zombie combo just destroys everything.
Yeah. I think once you get Zombie 7-star, it'll be a lot easier. Before that, it's a hard team composition to kind of make going because you don't have all the regular synergies that you're kind of used to with the Nightsisters. So I think you're in a reasonable position here. So as soon as your Zombie gets 7-star, you're off to the races. I think with 6 out of 6 on your Nightsister. So I don't think you're too far there.
So would you prioritize Mother Talzin unique Zeta for this territory war, come the next Darkside territory war, or would you prioritize Emperor Palpatine's lead?
Yeah, I'd recommend Palpatine because you already have a pretty decent Nightsister squad as it is, and EP will just give you one heck of a defensive team.
It's a 1 Zeta team, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so it's also the quality of the Zeta, right? So all these Zetas on the Nightsisters are really good. But truth be told, you can run the Nightsister team with a Mother Talzin lead without any Zetas on the team, and they can still be super effective. The Emperor Palpatine team without a Zeta on his lead is basically nothing. The whole team is kind of fueled by the engine of all the dots falling off or whatever debuffs being removed and feeding turn meter. So if you don't have the Zeta on Emperor Palpatine lead, you basically down an entire team. Versus not putting a Zeta on Nightsisters, you have a team that is still very viable. It's just not tweaked for like the super high level things. So definitely go with the Emperor Palpatine lead.
Okay.
All right. So with that, then I guess the next team that you can actually put together would be your Sith team, right? If you're going to put a Zeta on Emperor Palpatine. It's like a Sith Empire team. Let's do your other team first. So you said you do like an Empire Trooper team?
Yes.
Is it just a full Trooper team, like with the Veer's lead, or do you try something with the Thrawn lead?
It's Veer's lead. I don't have Thrawn's leadership Zeta, so it's not always very good. If I tried it last time and it failed.
Okay.
Okay,
so let's take a look at your Imperial Troopers here. So you have a Gear 12 Veers, great, Zeta and everything. You have a Gear 12 Death Trooper, Gear 11 Stark, Gear 11 Shore Trooper, Gear 11 Snow Trooper. You have a Gear 9 Stormtrooper and a Gear 7 Magna Trooper, which is fine. Typically, when you have to donate to platoons, do you find that you're donating both Death Trooper and Shore Trooper, or just one or the other?
I only do one or the other. I never do both.
Okay.
And we have in our guild where it's like called out where you have to do it. It's just sometimes you're waiting until like 11:06. You'll be waiting till late. A little later till everyone gets off work. Or
Got it. So I would suggest if you can hold on to your, and I don't know what you guys think as well, so we can just, if you guys disagree, just speak up. I would say hold on to your Death Trooper. You can donate your Shore Trooper and then put in your Storm Trooper, even at Gear 9. And then only taunt when necessary, because your team will be able to put out enough damage, and if you can kill even one character, Death Trooper is going to help start taking you out, like, different things very, very quickly. So I don't think that this substitution of Stormtrooper for Shore Trooper is that bad. I would rather have Death Trooper, especially for the Dispel. If you had to keep
looks
one.
like he dropped again.
Okay. Well, he'll be able to call. He'll be able to catch up here. But,
Yeah.
What do you guys think? Keep Death Trooper or keep Shore Trooper?
Keep Death Trooper.
Okay.
They're both so good.
Yeah, but if he has to donate one for platoons, obviously you want to keep both. But if you're donating one,
if you can keep,
I'd say Shore Trooper, because while Death Trooper is awesome, Shore Trooper can mean the difference between 5 out of 6 and 6 out of 6.
Yeah,
Insanely, what do you
I agree with that sentiment. Like Shore Trooper is going to keep your team healed up, and you're going to need that with the onslaught of all the damage that the enemies can do.
All right. So keep one or the other. So I think we're split here, 2-2, on which one to keep. But I think we agree. Try to keep both of them.
Yeah.
So if that
on
ends
the
up...
I was just going to say, I mean, I can see that his magma's Gear 7, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can't remember how gear hungry magma is, but
he's gear hungry.
Invariably I have to, I don't have to, but I do give out my Shore Trooper, I give out my Death Trooper, and on the Phase 6 squad, I find that Snow and Magma do it, but I have a high geared Magma.
Yeah. He's worth the investment, though, especially with the whole Scion Arena meta. Magma Trooper can almost solo Scion at this point. If you're facing a Zeta Scion in Arena, he's nasty against Scion with the Thrawn lead. So he's worth it, but he is a gear hog.
And he's also a toon that you can cover up from platoons or whatever, isn't it?
Yeah.
He'd like say, I mean, I was joking earlier on, but normally the requirements of Death Trooper and Shore Trooper in platoons is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, that, and he's also part of one of the weirdest and most entertaining Sith raid teams.
Yeah. He's an interesting character. He is a gear hog, though, with very few but great uses. So he's worth the investment if you can spare it. So I do like the potential of a Magma Trooper here. But yeah, you can play around with it to see whether or not you can handle sacrificing a Death Trooper or a Shore Trooper first. I like Death Trooper because it kills things faster, but it looks like Grim and Sanely are on the side of keeping Shore Trooper. Both of them are really good, though. So either one you would substitute with Stormtrooper and try to see if you can push that one. But try to keep both of them, and then you'll be able to do it. Hopefully you have some lower ones in your guild that are able to donate instead. Because yours are too high gear, I think, for a lot of guilds in order to put in platoons.
Okay.
And then you have your Sith team, which you'll be able to put together pretty easily. We'll look at it really quick, but essentially you're going to have your Emperor Palpatine, your Vader, your Nihilus. Let's look at Sith only to see if we can avoid using Thrawn in that team, so you can create another team there. So you have your Emperor Palpatine, your Vader, your Dooku, your Nihilus, and your Sith Trooper. And your Sith Trooper is only gear 8, though. So if you wanted to do a exclusive Sith team, you would need to boost up your Sith Trooper a little bit. Or once you get your Scion up, he's another potential once you get him to 7-star. But he's only 4 now, so I know it's a little while away. But you have a decent squad. Obviously, the trick for this one, if you haven't done it too much, save Nihilus's special. You can keep on just stacking it up and saving his Annihilate to kill somebody early. I can't remember which one it is. I can recognize them by their picture. But there's one troop that does the constant dispelling and taunting. And if you can kill them with Nihilus... Which one is it?
The Snow Trooper Ops, if I remember correctly.
Dark Side Territory Battle.
Oh, Dark Side.
Yeah, there's one of the Rebels.
The Rebel Soldier, I think, is the one.
Yeah, I think it's
the
Rebel
elite
Soldier
Rebel
too.
Soldiers. So annoying.
Annihilate them off the bat with your Nihilus. If you can go into the wave with your Annihilate up, and you can just take out the... And I'm pretty sure it is the Soldier. Take them out, and that makes your battle so much easier. So always try to keep Nihilus's Annihilate at the beginning of each wave in order to clear things out. And that should help you if you're not doing that already with the battles. Any questions on the Sith team?
No questions.
Okay. And then it looks like you're working towards a First Order team. Is that right? It looks like your Kylo Ren is 7-star and Gear 8. Are you working on your First Order at all?
Yeah, I've been working on them. They're just not a high priority quite yet. I think I'm closer to having a full, a full Empire and then a second Empire team than to be closer to gearing up the First Order.
Okay.
But I don't know. What do you think?
Let's look at your Empire and see what the other ones are. So you have your Thrawn. Your other characters would then be TIE Fighter Pilot, who's Gear 11, which is fine. A Tarkin, who's Gear 9, so he's going to be a little low. You have your Gar Saxon, which is Gear 8. So if you create a Sith team, so here's where I think a little decision comes in. If you put a Zeta on Emperor Palpatine lead, you're going to basically end up splitting up either your Empire or Sith, or creating a merging. I don't think you're going to be able to field 2 of them. So it looks like it'll come down to a choice of Emperor Palpatine lead is the one that you're probably going to want, because he is going to provide turn meter, especially since the Rebels just dispelled themselves. And then you'll just give your entire team turn meter once Vader puts on his dots and stuff. So you're going to keep on gaining turn meter pretty quick with that team. The question is, are you going to try to do an Empire team? Because once you use your Imperial Troopers, you don't have a lot of Empire left if you exclude Palpatine and Vader. Or are you just going to do a mixed team, which might make it stronger, like a Palpatine, Vader, Thrawn, Nihilus, and even in this case, Royal Guard or some kind of tank?
I was thinking if I needed to Zeta another like leadership, the leadership would be either Mother Talzin next and then Kylo Ren, but then that doesn't really, I don't think I'm close enough gear-wise to make it like in the next, let's say, 2 territory battles, have a perfect, in the next 2 months without dropping a ton of money.
Right. Let's see.
Which we don't have any kind of like, I don't know, deadline or anything. It's just a personal goal of mine.
I think you are closer with your First Order than you think you are. The team changes so much once you get 2 Zetas on Kylo. It's ridiculous.
Even with just one Zeta, it's still amazing.
Yeah. His leader ability, because you get the regen, like it's almost equivalent to like Jin on the light side, right? Where once you start all this regen that you can get, Kylo Ren and First Order Stormtrooper end up being so hard to kill that you can keep your First Order team alive and going for quite a bit in that territory. Not to mention that the First Order team is a really powerful team, especially in territory wars right now. They are one of the better defensive teams that you can place. And you pretty much have the characters. They're a little bit under-geared, the ones that you may prefer. So right now, you would probably run a Kylo Ren Unmasked, an Executioner, a Stormtrooper, Kylo Ren Regular, and First Order TIE Pilot, because those are the ones that you have highest. First Order Officer is another character that if you can bring up, fits into that team really well. You would probably drop, I would say First Order TIE Pilot, probably. Would you agree with that, Grim? If you can get your First Order Officer up?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So if you can get your officer up, you can drop your TIE Pilot and put in your First Order Officer, and that becomes a really good team. A lot of turn meter manipulation, a lot of healing going on, a lot of control. It becomes a solid team for you, I think. So you're not actually too far away from a First Order team that can do well. It's just you have to work on your Kylo Ren Unmasked. But right now, especially with the ship change, Slicer is actually, so it's a TIE Silencer, is actually a really, really good ship. So an investment in Kylo Ren actually will benefit you in 3 different areas, essentially. Territory battles, territory wars, and in fleet. So I think it's a worthwhile investment for you.
Okay.
And I think that answers your question on Zetas too then, right?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Oh, and Jedi Gunny mentions it too. First Order is actually really good in the raid as well. They're really good in Phase 2 and especially Phase 4. They're really good there too. So First Order is a really nice investment, especially right now.
All right. Well, thank you all for answering my questions.
Mm-hmm. Not a problem.
I appreciate you having me on.
Of course. And you can hang around. We'll try and do something fun here. But let's do a couple of questions sanely, and then we'll see if we can switch to something else, just for some entertainment here too. Since we went kind of long with the roster review, but we like when people come.
Yeah, and now for something completely different.
Av 7/92. Question: Fleet meta now. Tarkin, Akbar, still Thrawn. Biggs, TIE Fighter, Pilot, Vader as starting lineup.
Say the lineup again.
Biggs, TIE Fighter, Pilot, Vader as starting lineup.
And that was an Akbar lead, he said, or Executrix?
Well, he's wondering which of the 3, capital ships he should run to.
I would still probably run Executrix with that. You have the fast teams in order to put a target lock to try and get Biggs to taunt early, which in the current climate, if you can get Biggs to taunt, would be a huge step, because that would give your other ships cover in order to try and attack. So I still like the prospect of Biggs. I just think it's going to be diminished now because of less ships, and then target lock RNG is always a pain. So I was
right now. Biggs is not the best tank anymore for ships.
He's not.
The after testing, the best tank right now, the best taunter, is the Clone Sergeant's Arc, because if you reinforce with him, he taunts non-stop as long as he has protection. It cannot be dispelled. Unless the buff immunity, of course. Mm-hmm. But you dispel it, it pops right back up.
But you have to see how much you can keep him with protection, right?
Yeah, and his secondary, his special now regenerates, I think, like 60% of his protection. So he's become really good. So, like I think it was Loki or I forget who it was last night that said, read the description on the skills because a lot of stuff has changed with ships.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's a toss-up between, for capital ships, though, I say it would be a toss-up between Executrix and Home 1.
Yeah.
Depending on your reinforcements.
All right. So Yeah, it depends what you have as well. So it's hard to answer. So I'll just put this out there right now. There's still so much unknown about ships. It's going to be hard for us to tell you guys what the best thing is yet. We don't want to tell you guys the wrong thing. We're giving you our opinions as best as we can. But the problem is there hasn't been enough testing that is being done. Part of the problem is with the kind of the event that they have up for the ship testing. It's really, really basic. This tutorial reinforcement thing that they have doesn't allow you to really test the way that you would want to test it, and that leaves the only way to really test some of this combat in Fleet Arena, and that's going to require you to spend crystals. So it's honestly probably going to be about a week before the ship meta kind of settles and we figure out which ships are best and which ones are not. With the double drops coming up, I know that's not the best news, that it will take that long probably for it to settle, but that would probably be the time frame that we're looking at. It's probably going to take about 5 to 7 days of Fleet Arena by the time people have enough battles, figure out what works and doesn't work, until you figure out if there is kind of this rock, paper, scissors type thing going on, and it looks like Executrix as an offensive and a Home 1 as a defensive is probably what's going to come out of this at the end. But in the meantime, we'll try and give you guys the best judgments that we can, but it's not like we can say things with as much certainty as if you ask us about something with Arena, right? Because Arena, we know. We've done Arena. There's not huge changes. We have an idea about what's going on in Arena, and we can steer you in the right direction. But it's a lot harder with ships right now. So just kind of bear with us on that, because I know you guys are curious, and so are we.
I just had a look at Plo Koon's Starfighter. Have you seen what?
Yeah.
For 100 things, dispel all debuffs from all allies.
Yeah.
So they're turning Plo Koon into kind of like a gauntlet.
He's crazy good. His reinforcement, I think, is going to be his best ability. I think he's going to end up being the #1 reinforcement off the bench for Home 1 lineups. Because he comes off the bench essentially with a taunt and then gives recovery of health and protection. Like, it's crazy. Plo Koon is going to be a standout on a Home 1 team.
Oh, I didn't realize the capital ships are getting them as well.
It's crazy.
Oh, I'm so happy I've been hoarding those tokens.
All right.
Wow.
Are you still driving, Mike?
No, it's not me.
No, it's Kelso.
Okay. I was like, oh, what the?
This time it's
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not driving.
No, there's just a little bit of background noise, I think, behind you from something.
I don't know. For a little bit there, I couldn't hear Finn over it.
I'm sorry.
I blame Mike.
Yeah, it's my fault.
All right.
There's 3 upgrades on Imperial Assault. Oh wow!
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've refrained from looking at ships. Oh wow!
Yeah.
Oh my god!
All right.
Tokens.
Next question.
New shinies, Mike. New shinies.
New shinies.
Next question, Ainley.
Sadama Ozbuff, question, is your energy saving strategy a good strategy? Aren't you losing out on daily energy that is earned by keeping your energy low?
Yes, but you end up gaining more because of double drops afterwards.
Vigilant Sentinel, question around the corn, what do you think is a good ship trio?
Geonosians and Galactic Republic and First Order. I think those 3 are going to be standouts.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I think Empire right now, at least until we get First Order capital ship.
Yeah.
You know, the Empire / Sith, sorry. You know, like regular TIE Fighter, the Scimitar, and Gauntlet Starfighter. That's the starting lineup that I'm using, and it is really nice.
All right. Next question.
Skewed Trooper, question, for an extra Empire tank in Darkside Territory Battle, Day 6, do I gear Royal Guard from his current Gear 10 to Gear 11, or do I invest in Stormtrooper, who is only Gear 8? Shore is Gear 12. I'd work on Stormtrooper, especially because it really helps out with the special mission getting IPD. Stormtrooper makes that mission way easier than if you had.
Because it throws the exposed on, doesn't it, as well?
Right.
If Stormtrooper doesn't get a crit or misses or something, they become exposed, which is always nice.
I also like Stormtrooper in the Sith raid because you can push Shore Trooper as your tank under the Akbar team for Machine Gun Leia, and then you still have a tank for your Imperial Trooper team as well if you keep Stormtrooper. Yeah, I think Stormtrooper is worth the investment compared to Royal Guard.
Yeah, Stormtrooper got good finally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I really wish they would have reworked Royal Guard along with when they did EP, because, yeah. But anyways.
Perhaps there's another red covered guard coming.
We can hope. We can hope.
All right, next question.
Contingent 33. Question with an Zeta Asajj lead. Who would you take out of an old school Nightsister team to put in Zombie for Sith Triumvirate Raid Phase 4? Or would you leave the old school team as is?
Initiate. I would, if you have all of them, I would straight up go Asajj lead, Daka, Talia, Talzin, and Zombie. I would drop Acolyte and Initiate.
That's the 8 mil plus team right there. I mean, why would you want to change it? You'll just do less damage if you change it.
So here's the concept behind it, right? The whole premise of the Asajj lead team, just so everyone knows, is the fact that Asajj all Nightsisters under Asajj Zeta lead will gain turn meter whenever they fall below full health. And so the idea is that you're constantly trying to find ways to heal the team in order to get your turn meter up. Acolyte serves a great purpose in that she has so much health steal that if you gear her correctly, she can go up to about 30 stacks of Bonds of Weakness and still trigger getting full turn meter as a result of her double tap basic. So Acolyte ends up being really useful in that purpose. Zombie, her purpose is not just to be a tank to like taunt, but it's if she can keep on dying and rezzing, you're now going to beef up Asajj to do more damage. And so the benefit of Asajj, Daka, and Talia is that they all have heals. Talia in particular, because she has a heal on her basic equal to the amount of damage that she does, gearing her up for high damage ends up being really critical. Talzin puts Plague on the adds. You're going to have a hard time hitting Plague on Scion Nihilus, but if you can put a Plague on the adds, it then spreads to Nihilus and Scion. And so you have that aspect of Talzin that makes her really beneficial. And then you also have her special, which will trigger all of the Nightsisters to attack. And that will trigger Talia to attack, which then heals up your entire Nightsister team, putting them at full health and then giving them the potential of dropping below 100 again. And so that ends up being the synergy.
Taunt. Mm-hmm. And you get the zombie taunt at the same time.
Exactly. So that's why that team ends up doing really, really well. Now, there have been some other substitutes that have done well. You can use a damage dealer instead of Zombie if you want to. You can put in Acolyte instead of Zombie. And that just gives you more damage dealing. And then you're going to be relying more on that versus the Zombie dying and bumping up Asajj. So you do have that potential. I've seen Spirit in that team as well do some really nice damage, actually. It was somewhere around 8-9 million damage with the Spirit in that team. So you do have some other options. All the Nightsisters work really well, but the synergy I think works best when you have Talzin and Zombie along with the Talia, Daka, and Asajj lead team. So, yeah. Let's do another question.
Danilo Papais. Question, any idea for a fleet lineup with the Executrix? I am totally lost.
We all are. This whole thing is a giant loss right now. It's awful. So much change in such a short time.
Yeah. I agree with what you said the other night, Finn. What they should have done was given us the reinforcement abilities, let us play with those for a little while, and then drop the 3 starting lineup bit on us. Because both at the same time right now, it went from easy learning curve to, oh my god, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
Three card Monty, isn't it? What the hell do they actually do now? Where is it? Where is the one?
Yahtzee! We're playing blackjack, sir.
Yeah, it was...
Okay, one more quick question.
Okay.
Nathaniel Morgan, can you guys do a special edition stream where you just test ships? Make Loki come on since he has everything.
So, we discussed this actually yesterday. On the stream and then after the stream as well. One thing is we will try and do some more with testing. Obviously, there is the limitation of how much we can actually test because of crystals and the event thing not really being the best. So we'll try and do what we can in order to test. We don't have access to a beta account, unfortunately, where we can do that. But that being said, once we have an idea of a better fleet team, and we're all going to be playing around with it in fleet because for the most part, all of us go pretty high in fleet arena. We're usually all top 5. I think Grande, Loki, Ranger, and myself. I think Tits is pushing up now too. I know she didn't like ships very much. But we're all typically top 5 in fleet on our shards. We're going to be testing things out anyways the next few days in order to try and figure out what works, what doesn't work. And then we'll probably do some kind of ship special in order to kind of let you guys know what we're thinking is the best team and what you guys can work on. And if there is a rock, paper, scissors format. Also, keep in mind, Saturday, on Jedi Academy, we're going to have some additional guests that are game changers. So we have Warrior, plus we're hoping to have another game changer on. So make sure you guys tune in to see that. But they might also have some better insight as they have probably been playing around with the ships as well, as much as they can. So we'll try and get you guys the best information that we can without leading you astray. So that's always our goal. So just bear with us as we figure all that out. All right.
Talk Warrior into using his test account for it.
I'm sure he already has. No, I know Warrior was already playing around, and he mentioned that the Geonosians were going to be good. And the Geonosians look like they are going to be pretty decent. I don't know if they're going to be the best, but they look like they're going to be pretty decent. They're going to be relatively formidable. They might be a good rock, paper, scissor team. Maybe not one you want to leave on defense, but one that'll easily beat something that you're putting on defense. So it looks like there's going to be a lot going on with the ships in this current format. And there's still a lot to learn about it as we all play around with it. So we'll get all that to you. And then Saturday, we'll see if we have insight from some of the game changers that do have a little more insight onto the ships than we do. All right. I'm going to end with an angry note here at the end. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and go around really quick and let you all kind of say your goodbyes to everybody as we'll bring the lunch stream to a close. So let's start with Mr. Mike Hunt. What do you want to pimp today?
I want to pimp that today I will be unlocking Treya. Yay! Finally.
Woohoo!
Congrats.
I've been thank you. I've been hoarding gear, so I will unlock her. I will gear her. I will attacks and abilities her, and then I'm gonna slap her into arena and see where we go. I've also, as we've just been chatting, been looking through ships. I've got some gear to deploy, and I currently have 1,269 of the capital ship ability.
Oh man,
Nice.
Stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go through and max all my capital ships and start to play with shippy whips. That's where I'm going to be.
Awesome.
I'm jealous.
Please join me.
You should start a whole new
I'm
series,
looking
Mike.
forward to that.
You should start a series called Who's on Third, since there's only 3 ships in the starting lineup.
I know. I'm gutted. It's like wait. Actually, being British, of course, it wasn't who's on fifth for ships. It was fifth and ships, which was a slight play on fish and chips.
Yes.
But yeah. Maybe it's just going to be who's the turd. Who don't you want there?
Can you spot the Muppet?
All right, so yeah, make sure you guys check out Mike's channel. So if you just search Mike Hunt SWGOH, you'll be able to find his channel. Grim, anything you want to pimp today?
Other than us, not really.
All right. So yeah, tune into RSG. Sanely, what about you?
I'd like to give a shout out to Silverbolt and thank him for updating my tuned version of me with my longer beard.
There you go. And, of course, you guys are listening to the RSG channel. So we do our lunch streams Monday through Fridays on working days at noon Eastern time. Working day is important because next Monday is a holiday. So there will not be a lunch stream. It's a holiday in the U.S. for you guys. So since the crew here is pretty much U.S., minus Mike, we go typically by the U.S. holidays here, and so there is a holiday on Monday. So on Monday we will not have a lunch stream, just so you guys know. But there will be one tomorrow, so make sure you guys tune in for that. Wednesday night, like yesterday night, we do our weekly stream where we go through the news and notes around the community. And yesterday went about 3.5 hours because there was a lot to discuss. So make sure you check that out if you haven't. I'm going to try and get that onto the podcast here later today, so you guys can get that on iTunes. On Saturday, we have Jedi Academy at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, where we do a pure question and answer stream. You guys ask the questions. We have a panel that answers it, which includes Warrior, Ramonazab, Loki, Grande, so the RSG crew. Mike Hunt is there as well, although he won't be here this week. But in his stead, we are looking to get somebody of equal, maybe slightly less value than Mike. So we'll see if we can pull that together for you guys. So make sure that you tune in on Saturday so you guys can see who our hopeful special guest is on that day. And I know there's going to be a lot of questions about ships, so we're hoping to get you guys some good responses for that. And Saturday night, we have our Mature stream on a different channel. It is the RSG Mature YouTube channel, so you'll have to search for RSG Mature, M-A-T-U-R-E. And that's at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, where the crew, like Grim, T-Money, Andane, Ouchie Dumpling, all the people you have grown to love in the chat and on our streams, kind of just get tore up from the floor up and have fun. So make sure you guys join us on Saturday night for some fun. And with that, I'm going to end with some anger. I am currently angry at CG Carry. And it's not because of ships. And although the ships does make me angry, it's not because of the update. CG Carry, you have hurt me. We had somebody come on the RSG Discord that was looking for some allies, right? So he's a new player. He saw our streams and came onto our Discord, was asking for some allies. And he basically has, he's not even eligible for Squeet. Yes, I said Squeet. You have to watch yesterday's stream in order to understand what I'm talking about. Yes. He doesn't have Squeet. And so I allied him, and he came up on my roster. And this is what killed me. So I'm going to go to his ally here. And if you guys can, go ahead and friend him as well. He's a newer player. Obviously, we want to make sure that he has allies that are strong, so that'll help him kind of move along. But as I bring up his ally thing, take a close look at the name of his guild, because I saw this, and it killed me, Carrie. It killed me. And it's a starter guild. Now, I know there is a reason for the wording here. So I know you guys are waiting on the Skype call. The name of the guild is called Murder of Porgs. Yes, it's literally the name of the starter guild. Wait, what? The name of the guild is called Murder of Porgs. That is the name of his starter guild. They are generating the hate of Porgs for low-level people. The name of the guild is freaking Murder of Porgs. Awful. Awful. Now, I know there is a reason for it because a murder is another word for like a group of porg. Like that's how you describe a group of porg. It's called a murder, like a murder of crow. But seriously, when it comes with porg and it's RSG related, you don't have a guild named Murder of Porgs. No! CG Carry, why? Why, CG Carry, why?
Why am I thinking about barbecue sauce as you're saying?
Oh my God. Finn,
And now I
Finn,
hate
you
everybody
gotta-
here. So with that, I hope you all have a good rest of your day because I am going to cry over the Murder of Porg. Thank you all for joining us for this lunch stream, and we'll check you out tomorrow.